Hey everybody, Chef here. Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. Just in case you missed the Google Meet, this will be a study guide. Listen along, and then you can take this Egg Basics #1 quiz. It's the one be right below this video. Post it in the Q2 folder. It'll be right below. It has a little puzzle piece next to it. All right. Also, we talked about I will have grades posted on Wednesday. Please make sure you check your grades and make sure you've done all the assignments. I do the best I can to check on them, but if you feel like there is a discrepancy or something's wrong, just let me know, message me, and we'll take care of it. We also discussed, do you make eggs at home? If you do make eggs at home and you would like to share a picture, please do so. It would be greatly appreciated, but not required. Also, there will be a very simple assignment of posting an egg recipe that you are interested in. That's all you have to do for a group discussion on Thursday during the Google Meet. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I want to go over is I've been talking a lot about my own chicken eggs and fresh eggs versus store-bought eggs, which are older. Not necessarily, that doesn't mean they're bad, they're just an older egg. This top one here in the red is a fresh egg, and you can tell, you can look at the yolk and see how much higher the yolk is and how close the white stays together next to the yolk. And when you have a store-bought egg, I'll do this in blue, see how it spreads out really quick? And the reason I'm showing you this is, and this is a test question, fresh eggs, when you boil them, which is really what we're talking about today, boiling eggs. Fresh eggs, when you boil them using all the right methods, they are still very difficult to peel. They are so fresh that the albumin, or egg white, wants to adhere to the shell, and it's just very hard for it to let go. So, that would be a test question. I think it's true or false. Fresh eggs, or I think it's store-bought eggs are harder to peel than fresh eggs. That is false. Fresh eggs are harder to peel. I want to make sure I get all these questions for you. All right. Also, when we were going over on Monday, yeast bread basics, and there's an assignment posted there. Since the transition of going back to virtual learning, I think I'm going to wait on yeast breads until I can get a little bit more organized. I was doing things at the school with assistance from some of the students, and now I can't do that. So we're going to put that on the back burner and just focus on egg cooking methods at this point. Okay, how to boil an egg, egg safety and storage, and interesting egg facts. Also, if you have not contributed your interesting egg fact, you need to do so. That is also in the Q2 folder. Now, if you look at this picture right here, this is a question as well. These are all the different parts of the egg. Right here is the air sac on the bottom part of the egg, the larger part of the egg. When you boil an egg, this is really where you should tap first to kind of break this air sac, and it really does help the egg peel a little bit better. So that is a test question. Which part of the egg should you tap when you start peeling? Obviously, you could tap the sides or the top. It would still work, but it's good to know where this air sac is, and I think that's the best tapping point. Okay, that one's, we got that. Okay. Tips for successful boiled eggs. There, if you look online, I might even post a few links that are pretty interesting, or interesting to me, about how much debate there is over how to boil an egg. You get different answers all over the internet. Most of the methods still work, but there's pros and cons to each of them. Once again, older eggs are easier to peel as opposed to fresh eggs, okay? Fresh eggs are harder to peel, okay? Now, listen to me on this one. There's a test question saying there is advantages and disadvantages to starting the boiling process of an egg. Some people believe you should start in hot water. Some believe you should start in cold water. If you start in hot water, some people believe it makes the egg a little bit more easier to peel, makes the shell separate from the egg white. But they also feel if you start in hot water that the egg tends to get a little bit more rubbery. So the question is, there are advantages for hot and cold water, and that is true. The answer is true. There are advantages and disadvantages for starting in hot or cold water. Also, we talked about don't overcrowd the pot. The reason you don't want to overcrowd the pot and go to a super rolling boil is the eggs will slam into each other and they could possibly crack. Okay, I like to bring mine to a rolling boil and then to a nice hard simmer where they're not knocking around as much, so they don't crack while they're cooking. Also, in this video, look, we're going to talk about the time it takes for to complete a hard cooked egg, okay? But there's a lot of variables, okay? The size of the egg, how quick your water comes to boil, the temperature of your eggs when you start. But for the sake of this test question, we're going to say it takes 10 to 12 minutes to boil an egg. That is an answer to a test question. Now, once you're done with that, what you want to do is you need to stop the cooking process. And this also has to do with, if you've ever seen an egg that boiled egg sat in the fridge for a few days, you know, it gets that kind of green ring around the yolk. That can also happen if you don't stop the cooking process and they stay warm too long. So what you want to do to make them easier to peel and have a nicer looking yolk, but the question is about how easier to peel, is you want to shock them in an ice bath. Let me do that in blue so you get a better idea. You want to shock them in an ice bath. Okay, so we got that. Best method, boiling time we have. Advantages and disadvantages we have. Also, once you've completed, you've shocked them, you put them in the fridge, eggs can last up to 7 days. Let me see if I can go to the next slide here. Yeah, let's talk about storage, because here's a picture of a refrigerator. First, from the day you cook them and put them in the fridge, you have 7 days of shelf life. That is a test question, okay? Under proper refrigeration and storage, okay? 7 days. We also talked about be mindful of expiration dates. Keep your eggs in a carton. The reason to keep your eggs in a carton is if you don't, you see those little egg carrier holders in fridges. Eggs they're porous and they really can't take on some of the smells of the refrigerator. So it's always best to keep them in a carton. And the carton always has the expiration date on there. Need to follow those. Minimal internal temperature for eggs, 145 degrees Fahrenheit. We will talk about more of that later this week. Should you eat raw eggs? No, you should not. Is it a high risk? No, it is not. But raw eggs can carry salmonella, and it is just wise not to eat raw eggs. And the example I use most of the time is in raw eggs and cookie dough. But really, you should not eat them. Discard eggs with any cracked shells. And once again, how long can you keep boiled eggs? 7 days under proper refrigeration. I think that's all the test questions there. 1, 2, 3. I think we're good on that. Let's go to the next slide. And obviously here you want to also look at, you want to keep eggs really, you know what, honestly, this picture is wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. Not that this is a test question, but if you have raw eggs here, and this is fruit, which is a ready-to-eat food here, if this raw egg somehow cracked, it would drip onto this fruit and you would cross-contaminate. So really, it should be reversed. Your egg should be below your fresh fruit. I'm sorry that I posted that picture. I will change it at some point. All right, last slide. We went over interesting egg facts. Here are some of the interesting egg facts if you want to look at those that students from classes submit it. If you have not submitted your interesting egg fact, I still need you to do so. I think that's about it. Q2 folder, Egg Basics #1 quiz. Take it. Use this as a study guide. There will also be not a hard copy, but a Google Doc with the study guide you can use as a reference as well. Have a nice day and hope to see you on Thursday.